Osiyo, it's how we say hello in Cherokee. I'm your host, Jen Lauren, at the Joe Thornton Archery Range in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. This site is home to the Cornstalk Shootout, where archers from all over travel to compete during the annual Cherokee National Holiday. Jesse Grayson is the coordinator for the Cornstalk Shootout and a true disciple of bow making. Raised in a traditional Cherokee family, Jesse learned the importance of our cultural crafts from a young age. Today, Jesse shares his knowledge to preserve the ancient traditions of both bow making and the Cherokee Cornstalk Shoot.
Sionagad, Walel Davado, Ahantalik, Janelle Awatasana. My name is Jesse Grayson. I was born and raised here in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. I am a bow maker and a cornstalk shooter. Growing up in a traditional family, I got to witness all kinds of arts and crafts. Watching the bows be made, baskets being made, pottery, anything and everything. I got to witness it and grew up with it. My dad, Webster Grayson, he got me into making bows. I was about 7 years old whenever he taught me how to start making them. He'd have a stave already that he was already working on, and he handed me that draw knife, and he'd point out where he needed to shave off at. In order for me to make a bow from start to finish, I take the log, and when I split that log lengthwise, every time I split it, I'm creating a new stave. And a stave is the beginning of one bow. This one just turned out to be perfect because it's got an actual four-way split, and so I can turn around and I can pick a spot here and start splitting it, and it should line up with this crack down here and then split evenly down the entirety of the log. The popping that you're hearing as I drive each of these wedges down, you'll hear that cracking. You're hearing those fibers break apart from each other. This one is called a yellow locust, boat arc, hedge apple, horse apple, Cherokee, Delonegay Galowed. It's got a lot of names to it. I wouldn't really say this is the best, but this is my preferred, just because I like how yellow it is. We let that stave sit for 2 years. We want it to fully cure out before we even touch that bow. But once that 2 years is up and then I'm able to get a hold of that stave and start working on it, probably 3 days, I would say it takes me to make a bow. That's me consistently working on it. Every stave is different. You're never gonna get the same two staves, even though they're cut from the same tree. Just like us. We're different. Every one of us are different. The bows are no exception of it. That you may get a bow that's real pretty and real straight, and then the other side of that log is going to be a lot of knots on curves on it. Making a bow can be pretty unforgiving. You can't force a bow to do something it doesn't want to do. About 2001, we had a bow shoot at the Cherokee National Holiday. I was young at that age, and I don't really remember conversations that happened between the elders at that time, but they decided that they wanted to keep shooting more than once a year. They met up at a neutral spot. As soon as everyone shot, everyone gathered around talking about their bows and about the next time they wanted to shoot. They started talking about bringing food out. We started off with bologna and bread. Put the tailgates down on the truck, and that's what ate off of there. And ever since then, it became a monthly shoot. As far as using the cornstalks for a target, I couldn't tell you an accurate story on where we got them from or how we came about to using them. I do know we grew a lot of corn, and I'm assuming that's where it started off with. They talk about the Cherokee marble game being well over 1,200 years old, documented. There's no documentation on how old the Cherokee Cornstalk Shoot is. Just by word of mouth and oral tradition is that it is older than the Cherokee Marbles game. The Cherokee Cornstalk Shooter Society is a group that I'm currently president of. We go by the name of THAC. THAC is a representation of what it sounds like when the arrow hits the stalks. Prior to me becoming the president of it, Pete Van was the guy who was our leader. He was our president of the Cornstalk Shooter Society, and he had He was a guy to look up to because he had a tremendous amount of knowledge, and whatever knowledge he had, he passed on he shared with anybody and everybody that wanted to know. Then I want to say it was around October 2021, Pete Van started falling ill on his health. And then it was at that time in October 2021 is when the group elected me to take over it. There's some big shoes to fill, but I'm trying my best on it.
To see Jesse teaching other people how to make the bows that we taught him how to make fills me with pride. I know that it's going to continue because he's going to show other people as he's doing. They in turn will show other people, and it spreads out. If you ever read historical documents, when DeSoto met the Cherokees, we met them with our bows. That bow is part of Cherokee history. It's something we shouldn't let die. I personally think that there is a sacredness to the bow. And I try to talk to Jesse about that, because to respect the bow, you respect the trees. If you respect the trees, you respect the earth.
Along with being the president of the THAT group, I am also the coordinator for the Cherokee National Holiday Traditional Games, the Cornstalk Shoot. We host monthly qualifying shoots. Once a month, we go to a different location, and every time we go to a different location, we take the top 3 winners of each division, and we invite them to the Cherokee Holiday Championship round. I'll watch this person shoot, and it's okay, you're choking up on your string a little bit too much. Next person, straight, get the elbow straight, make sure you're anchoring. I'm talking with anybody and everybody. Just because I want to see that competition. I just love that camaraderie of it, watching that competition. And, we get down to the last 5 minutes, last 10 minutes of a shoot, and you got these 2-3 people tied up for 3rd place, and man, they're buckling down, they're trying to shoot. And you see that frustration and come across them if one misses and one hits, or both of them miss, and it's fun. It's fun.
That's a good shot right there.
I feel like it is my responsibility, with the knowledge that I have, the knowledge that was passed on to me. It is my responsibility to make sure that knowledge goes on to the next person. We'll go back to Pete Van. One of our bow shooters had asked Pete Van one time, if they want to learn, what do we teach them? How much can we teach them? And Pete's simple word was everything. And so, with that being said, it is our responsibility. If you have knowledge, pass it on. When it comes to the bow shoot and the importance of keeping this tradition, this craft, this game alive, and it being over 1,200 years old, that's a long ways for this game to be carried on. So many people before me had kept it alive. I don't want it to die on my generation. If I can spark that interest with them, maybe we can keep adding more group members to our shoot. For me to be able to continue this tradition and take part in this tradition, a tradition that's been going on for ages, it's an honor. Aside from just the bow shoot, aside from just making bows, every aspect of our culture, we got to keep that alive. Being Cherokee is more than just that blood quantum. It's more than just saying, yeah, my ancestor was a Cherokee. We got all these traditions, we got all this heritage, we got all this culture, from the plants, from the crafts, from the weapons, in our language, to even our food. Those are some main things that we need to maintain and we need to pass on, because without it, we're just another person. I don't think we'd be able to say we're a Cherokee without our culture.